You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on the Mo Kelly Show, it's Tiffany Hobbs, the viral load. She'll speak of all the viral things social media can bring. Facebook, Insta, X, TikTok, the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs. Viral load, viral load, the viral load. Yeah. Viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's Later with Mo Kelly, and this is the return of the viral load with, yes, me, Tiffany Hobbs. And we have a wild card entry tonight. I usually have a schedule, but I was overlooking social media because that's my job here on Wednesdays, to give you the top viral stories of the week. And there is another story that has shot to the top of my list, and let me tell you a little bit about it. So if you've ever gone to an aquarium or any place that has an aquarium attraction, let's say a restaurant, Long Beach Aquarium, maybe something in San Diego, wherever you live, it could even be, again, a restaurant that features an aquarium attraction, something where there's a live human person inside of the aquarium acting as a mermaid or some sort of character. Well, in this case, there's a mermaid. It's a Russian woman, and this takes place in China. This is the newest viral story, I would say, of the day. This woman is a mermaid, and she's doing her thing. She's swimming around. Children are looking. It's like an aquarium, a very normal setting, until it's not. And what happens is, as this young woman is swimming with her mermaid tail and kind of doing all of her little mermaid tricks, a large sturgeon, which is a huge fish, goes atop of the woman while she's underwater and all these people are watching, and successfully places its entire mouth over the woman's head, completely engulfing her. The good thing is sturgeon don't have teeth, but they do have a very powerful sucking mechanism. That's how they bring in their prey. And it put its mouth over this woman. She is able to push herself out of the sturgeon's mouth, and she then swims away to, I imagine, what is safety. She swims kind of off camera while the children are standing there watching in horror.
Did they scream? Mortified?
Mortified. Confused screams at first, of course.
Is this part of the act?
Yeah, and she definitely left the scene and did not return. So that's the wild card entry for this week. So if we get back to our schedule, the first story I want to share with you comes from Georgia. Oh, this poor guy. You might have seen it floating around. If you are a person who likes value shopping, and many of us do, then you might have been lured to Temu or something like AliExpress, kind of these drop shipping sites, these big warehouse sites that are offshore. AliExpress is a very popular one. And like Temu and these other low cost providers, they sell goods at a fraction of the price. Okay. So this guy, this really nice man named Sylvester Franklin of Savannah, Georgia, decides that he wants to buy a drill, a conventional drill, a power tool. And he goes on AliExpress. He picks out his favorite drill. It's yellow. He decides to purchase it. It's about $22.50. It's a pressure washer drill combination. He sends off his money, and a few weeks later, he gets a package in the mail. Sylvester Franklin goes and excitedly opens his package, but there's no drill inside. There are no actual physical tools or remnants of a drill. No. What AliExpress sent poor little Sylvester Franklin of Savannah, Georgia, was a printed out picture of the drill that he expected to purchase for $22.47. A printed out, Xerox copied picture of the drill that he expected to have in the physical form. Yes.
Did they forget to put it in there?
No. This was deliberate. This was intentional. And this is one of the warnings and cautionary tales when you shop at these offshore sites, because you do not fully know what you're going to be getting.
See, at least with eBay, your purchases are guaranteed. Amazon, your purchases are guaranteed.
Yeah, not the offshore ones nearly as much. It is buyer beware, buy at your own risk. And Sylvester Franklin has yet to receive a refund for this. He says
he's not going to get one.
He's waiting very patiently, but he has gone viral because of this story. I actually put the picture up on my Instagram at Tiff Hobbs on Instagram, and you can find a picture of Sylvester Franklin, and the picture speaks 1,000 words. He's holding up the picture of the drill, and the look on his face is priceless.
I found the sturgeon video. It's worse than you described. It's sucked off her goggles and everything.
It's very powerful sucking mechanism, that poor young lady. And poor Sylvester Franklin. Another poor person, and I mean that as far as misfortune is concerned, is this young lady. She's from Detroit, and she was going to a party. To get home from the party, get to the party, she used Lyft, the ride-sharing service. And when she attempted to come home from the party, she booked this Lyft. The Lyft driver pulls up in a small, compact sedan of some sort and sees the young woman and pulls away from the young woman without letting her in as a passenger. The young woman is able to catch up to this driver. He is John Doe, and I'll tell you why shortly. And as she catches up, she's able to ask the driver. They have an interaction, and she goes, what's up? Why are you leaving? Why'd you leave? And the driver proceeds to tell her that he does not think that she will fit in his car because she is extremely overweight. They go back and forth. There's a negotiation of sorts. She's trying to negotiate getting in the car. She's saying she's done this plenty of times. She's been in cars this size and smaller. What's the big deal? And the driver, this John Doe, goes on to say that he is worried about his tires. All of this is caught on camera because the young woman is recording this interaction. This recording then was sent to a lawyer. She lawyered up quickly, and the lawsuit has now been filed for discrimination based on weight and size. And John Doe is the Uber driver, the Lyft driver in this case. So there's a lawsuit.
Did you see the video?
I did.
Did she start filming before she opened the car door, almost like she
set up,
planned it? Yeah.
It's hard to tell kind of the sequencing of events there, but he did say some very inflammatory things about her weight.
What was the car? Was it like a Yugo? Was it a smart car?
It's like Honda? A little Honda Accord or something.
I think it was a Mercedes C-Class, and those are like the smallest
It's
ones.
like the same size as an Accord or a Corolla.
I'm just curious if she was filming before he rolled up. That's a little sus to me.
It could be. He does tell her, lady, hey, you can go on and book a different Lyft. In fact, get the quote Lyft XL. You don't want to say that to anyone.
But that's the correct answer. It's a larger car. The same thing with Uber. Stefan, isn't it true if you want a larger car, it's an Uber XL?
Yeah, that's what the same thing. That's all I get. Or the black SUV ones. That's all I use.
Hey, you don't have to bring race into it, okay? Right?
That's what they usually
Slow down.
Race or weight, Andrew Carabella.
Oh, man.
Golly.
I'm still mad at you from the opening of the show. Just trying to stir it up. We got to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we will have the second portion of the Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany. Live on KFI's Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the top hits on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's Later with Mo Kelly, and this is part 2 of tonight's Viral Load. Online, you might share pictures of your food, what you're eating. If it's a nicely presented meal, you might share pictures of your children or your pets. You might share pictures of your vacation. But do you share pictures of your stick, Mo Kelly?
Huh?
Mo?
No, I don't. No, that's for OnlyFans. You have to pay to see that.
Well, there's a movement, and it is growing in popularity at an enormous
That's what you
rate.
say.
Don't you do it, Steph. He's not listening. Good. Well, there's a movement, and it is called Stick Nation, and it's all about literal sticks. Yes, pieces of trees or branches, whatever it might be. It's a bizarre movement. It's exploded all over social media to the tune of millions and millions of followers and shares. And these two friends, here are their names, Boone Hogg and Logan Juggler. They sound like they love sticks and outdoorsy stuff, right? Boone Hogg and Logan Juggler.
Are they from Hazard County?
They're from Utah, so close enough.
Yeah.
They started a couple years ago, collecting sticks and posting pictures and video of uniquely shaped sticks and things that they found were interesting online. Well, their popularity again grew, and they garnered a massive following of millions of people who now also engage with them by uploading videos and pictures of their favorite sticks in the shape of walking sticks or anything that they feel the internet might find interesting.
I've missed my calling.
You've missed your calling because they are making major money from this because, again, they have millions of followers, especially on TikTok or StickTok, as their account is known. 12.5 million likes since 2023.
What am I doing with my life? All I had to do is start my own stick account.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's your OnlyFans account. Oh, hi-yo.
Oh, so Steph is now re-engaged with the program. Got it.
If you want to make some extra money, here is another way, another form of perhaps passive income, ? As you would say. It's not that passive because you really have to dig deep for this source of income. Steph, can we roll that beautiful clip?
You know, thousands of people are now awaiting life-saving organ transplants. But what if they could buy an organ, like example, a kidney? Right now, federal law actually prohibits people from selling their organs.
But as Fox 13's Lloyd Towers reports, a man wants to sell his kidney, and he's suing for the right to be able to do it.
For anybody who thinks that this is not already going on, they have no idea that there is an enormous black market happening.
John Bellocchio says on the dark web, people all over the world are selling kidneys, and he wants the right to sell his legally. Matt Haken is his attorney.
If you just follow the case law on abortion, the law to me is pretty clear that, you know, it's my body, my choice. So John should have the personal freedom to do whatever he wants with his body.
Haken filed a federal lawsuit in Manhattan, arguing the law Congress passed in 1984 that makes selling organs against the law is unconstitutional. And with more than 100,000 Americans on dialysis, he says many are awaiting a transplant that may never come.
The kidney, when I looked up how much a kidney might cost in the United States, a kidney is going for, on average, $442,000, around that part. So if you think about it, this is a lot of money that people are looking to make from selling their own organs. And I think evoking the idea of my body, my choice is an interesting angle to all of this because, yes, it is a person's body. It should be a person's choice as to what they're going to do with their body. But what does this then encourage?
Yeah, it's a complicated issue, if only because we can obviously donate organs. We can donate a kidney, but at the same time, not the recipient per se, but the whole process of donating a kidney generates money for the hospital. It generates money for the pharmaceutical company where you have to use those rejection drugs,
right?
Anti-rejection drugs for the rest of your life. And Tuala can tell us better than anyone. There's a lot of money changing hands, and the people involved don't get any piece of it. And
this is what that aims to mitigate, that people would become the direct beneficiaries of that transaction. John, the plaintiff here, or the person with the lawsuit, is saying he wants all of that money. He wants to sell his kidney. So, of course, this has gone viral. It's being shared all over social media. And we'll find out what happens and what kind of precedents this sets if John is successful at his lawsuit. Do we have time for one more quick one?
One more.
All right. So another My Body, My Choice type story. There's a TikToker who was arrested for dancing provocatively over a disabled person's head in a video that has now gone viral, of course, on TikTok.
What's wrong with people?
So back last week, there's a young woman. She's 19. She works at what would you call it? Like a convalescent home type of place. And she is a care nurse or in some sort of capacity working to support the patients there. Well, instead of doing her job that day, she decided to film a TikTok video. And what she did is she kind of straddled one of the patients who is disabled, and gyrated all over this patient's head and, got her parts very close to this patient's head.
And taped it, of course.
And taped it, uploaded it, and is very surprised and shocked as to why she's in trouble. Not just that the fact that she lost her job, but that she is also being charged with, exploitation of a disabled person. That's a big state law that she violated.
Nothing in this person's head said, maybe not. One thing to do it, it's another thing to record it, and it's another thing to record it and upload it and be proud of it.
You're giving people way too much credit. Way too much credit. Way too much credit. That's the viral load for this week.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I have a dirty secret, something I have to reveal here. I've said it before, but I didn't really focus on it. I was hoping people wouldn't recognize it or realize what I was saying. I can say that I've seen every episode of Sex and the City and the movies. In part because my wife was watching it and got me into it. And then the show was gripping to me. I only use that as a jumping off point because it serves as a reference for this new podcast I've been listening to called Sex in the City. And it has a number of people that I thought I knew until I started listening to it. Well, I learned a lot more about them. And one of the hosts is joining me in studio right now, Kayla Austin. She used to produce SoCal Saturday. She's presently the producer of the Dr. Wendy Show. Kayla, it's good to see you again. How are you tonight?
Hi, Mo. I am so happy that you're a Sex and the City fan. That makes me astonished.
Well, it astonishes a lot of people, but it informs what I'm expecting and listening for in conversations amongst women, specifically women I happen to know. And y'all are talking about stuff. It's kind of hard for me to look in the eye now.
Understandable.
Because it's like, I know too much.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I got to look down as we do this.
I know too much. But I say that to say it's very raw at times. It's very honest. I would say it's very insightful because I'm not in the dating pool anymore. I don't know what people talk about. I talk about with Stefan, what is it y'all do? You have these dating apps. How do you interact with each other? How would you describe dating for women under the age of 40 today?
Oh, the mating marketplace is absolute trash. Men are dating apps. I feel like almost ruined everything. Back in the day, men used to approach you. They were very confident. They would look you in your eye, make you feel like, ooh, they don't do that anymore. They do. There's this new trend going around where it's like, they'll take a video of you and then post it online, like find her.
Oh, that's really freaking creepy.
It's so creepy. It's so disheartening because I'm an old school lover. And I like to be approached and, little cat mouse.
Being like courted?
That too.
Okay.
After the cat mouse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's absolute trash now. I think digital life ruined everything.
But given that, if you know that the world is not moving in the same direction as you, how do you then find potential mates or find a pool of applicants, someone that you might even consider dating, other than going back to the proverbial going to the grocery store and meeting them in the produce section?
Well, luckily the roster that I've built, I'm very proud of.
Roster?
You gotta keep your options open.
You got a first base, second base, shortstop.
Yes, sir. You gotta keep it. You gotta
got some people on the bench.
Yes, absolutely. You gotta have the backup mates. I'm only getting older, and nobody promised me monogamy yet. So you got to play these fields right. And luckily, the men that I have met, the roster, one was met at happy hour at Morton's, my favorite place. He's one of my favorites. One I met in Jamaica on vacation, one that you met at your job. It's just
no, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So the organic meetings do still happen. They're just a lot less common.
There was a portion of your conversation that you can tell us about your other co-hosts, but there was a portion of the conversation I found interesting and fascinating because surprisingly, you all may be between the ages, let's say maybe 27 and 38 or something around that.
Sure.
Okay. And you're not going to validate, but I know I'm warm.
Yeah.
But you were discussing the idea of dating younger men, why you would, why you wouldn't, the pluses and minuses. 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have had that conversation in such a public manner. And the idea of women dating younger men was looked at differently. I wouldn't say frowned upon, but looked at differently. What do you think that the conversation is now amongst women in their 30s dating possibly guys in their 20s?
Well, I will say that's the beauty of Sex and the City. It gives us women on Sex and the City of Angels a way to speak so openly about that because they've covered these topics in the 90s. It's just I was a young girl then, so I didn't really realize what they were speaking of. Now that I'm in my 30s and I'm rewatching, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I have dated a few 20-somethings. Not that I'm not a 20-something.
Like 21?
Heavens
20?
no. Jesus. No.
You got to be specific.
The youngest I went was maybe 26, 27. Independent, living on their own.
29?
Oh, no, honey. I was in my 30s.
You got to be specific.
All right, I was 32. How old am I now? I don't know, 32, 31. So 27, 26.
That's not... Well, I guess that's kind of younger.
But I feel
6 years is an okay gap. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. I feel when you hit 30s as a woman, you just your prefrontal cortex is there. You get a new set of eyes. You see the world a lot more clearly. And these 20-something men, they don't. It's a complete disconnect there.
Do you not want to know why? And I'm going to be very chauvinistic. I'm letting you know in advance. Okay. So get ready for it.
All right.
A man in his 20s knows fundamentally that he can date a woman in her 30s. The range of dating could be anywhere from 21, actually 18, being honest, a man in his 20s, 18, 35, 36.
Okay.
As a woman gets older, here comes the chauvinistic part, but it's the honest part.
All right.
As a woman gets older, she is always competing against these women who are younger than her because the guy in his 20s is willing to go either way on the age spectrum.
And that's fair. I can accept that. I hear that. It's not my reality because I compete with no one. But I do understand and accept that that's a thing that people do think is a reality. But I learned very quickly that I need to date older because these younger men just aren't for me.
I get that because we are knuckleheads. I was a knucklehead in my 20s. And also I would not have been ready for a quote unquote serious relationship with a grown ass woman.
Yeah.
Because I'm in my 20s. For me, I was working in the music industry. I was not promising monogamy to anyone.
No, and then also it's just, I feel like 20-somethings, they enjoy a chaos. They enjoy wild things. Yes. I'm old. I'm tired. I don't like drama. I look for peace. I look for relaxation. I look for intellectually stimulating conversation. And these 20-somethings, they just don't offer that.
But tell the truth. Don't lie to me on the air. You're also looking for a bank account, right?
Oh, no, he didn't. But yeah, it's nice for a man to be more financially secure.
Oh, that's what they call it.
They are that when they are older.
Tell me who else are your co-hosts?
We have a former producer, Dana. She used to work here. I don't know what show she worked on, but she worked here. My sister.
Wake Up Call with Amy King.
Oh, Wake Up Call with Amy King. There you go. My sister, Aaliyah. She's from Jersey as well, and she has a yoga, holistic, therapeutic view to dating. And then there's Norms, who's completely given up on dating as a whole, and she's just until I find my Aiden Shaw, I am happy with my dog.
That's interesting when you say Aiden, because that's my favorite male character on Sex and the City, and the one that I always rooted for, and I could never stand Carrie Bradshaw because he was the one who actually loved Carrie, not Mr. Big, not any of those other fools that she dated or messed around and cheated on with. But I could go all day on that. But my question to you, as we talk about Sex and the City of Angels, how can we find the podcast? What are you talking about right now?
Our next episode covers actually what you were talking about, gold diggers. That's dropping on Tuesday.
I didn't say that.
I think you did say something along those lines. But that's dropping on Tuesday. Episodes drop Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Every Tuesday, we're breaking it down episode by episode. We're currently in season 1, and it's just been a lot of fun talking about it. Everywhere you get podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, where you want it, you got it.
I got one question, and hopefully you'll tell me the truthful answer. What have you learned about either your sister or your co-host that you did not know prior to this podcast? Because when you're sharing this stuff be flying out of your mouth like bones out of skeletons out of a closet.
Well, the good thing is, we have a friendship genuinely, and we just put that friendship to the microphone. So we are 4 close friends who watch Sex and the City, love Sex and the City, and now we're just talking on the microphone. So there's not much things that I'm surprised about, but I'm sure the audience is surprised about.
Yeah, that's why I'm scared to listen sometimes, because then I got to like look you all in the eye when I see you. It's like, oh my gosh, now I know too much.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sex in the City of Angels. Find it anywhere. Let's start with the iHeartRadio app. Kayla, it's always great to see you, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Mo. I appreciate it.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And before we get out of here, Andrew Carabella, thank you for sitting in for Mark Ronner tonight.
Oh, always great to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we'll have to make Mark Ronner know that he's expendable and replaceable, and he was getting a little too big for his britches and everything.
I would listen in quite often. Yes, I'm aware.
And Stefan wanted to thank you as well. You were very attentive. You were on the whole rim shot button.
Rim shot duty.
Yeah. I meant to ask you, seriously, are you still driving for Uber?
So I did have a hiatus for a while because I started working here full time. But I'm just kind of having a little bit of a money issue. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back into it. I wanted to get another car, but I'm just going to use my daily car.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've just been researching to make sure everything's they update the app every now and then, but for the most part, it's pretty much is what it used to be. So I'm just going to get back on it. So now it's just going to be most likely Fridays and weekends and then like the big holidays.
But financially, it's still comparable to where it was when you were driving more often?
From what I can tell, yeah. Because, some people, my dad uses it a lot when I'm not around, when he has to take a short trip. And he's talked to so many people who either are trying to make it in Hollywood, and this is their part-time gig, or they've left their current job to work that full-time because it makes more money.
Look, I always am amazed at what the rideshare industry has created, where regardless of you being out of work as far as a full-time job, you can always drive for Uber and sustain yourself. Are you going to make yourself rich? Probably not. But you'll at least be able to pay most of your bills. From the people I've talked to, they drive enough where they can make enough money where they can, when I say make a living, it may not be the greatest living, but they're not going to be homeless.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then when every time people ask me if they should do it, and I say, well, I always ask their situation. Do you have a family? Do you have kids? That type of thing. How busy is your regular job? I always say, if you're going to do part-time, just if you can give them up Fridays and weekends, and you'll make probably the same amount you'd make in a week at your job, depending on what you do.
See, that says a lot right there. Because especially in a time where most people only have one stream of income, if you lose that stream of income, you're just out there and you're stressing. You're not sure how you're going to pay the rent, you're going to pay the mortgage, pay the car note. And you're telling me driving for Uber or Lyft, or at least Uber, you should be able to take care of all those things.
Yeah.
If you put in the time.
Oh yeah. If you put in the time, and that too, if you go full time, it does require discipline, because it's very easy to wake up and go, I don't want to go today. Cause no one's telling you when to go and when not to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to, get your ass out of bed and get to driving.
Were you working like an 8-hour shift when you were doing it at your peak?
I was working. So Monday through Thursday, it would be around, I would average between 4 a.m. to about 5 to 6 p.m. depending on where I'd end up. Yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah. It wasn't easy.
Let me say that again. Damn. 4 a.m. to, ooh.
So then the way I would work it out, and you can take this if you want, if you do this full time, just speaking to anyone out there. And then Fridays I would sleep in. So I would start probably around I don't know, 10, 11 a.m., which is usually kind of slow. It's the middle of the day. But I'd work all the way through the night to the next morning because that's when that's where the real money is. And so that, will get you to where you need to be. Saturday, I would do the same thing, sleep in, and then work. That one I could work longer though, because I would usually start even later. I'd start like at 1 p.m. and then go to the next morning.
Wow.
So, and then Sunday was always my day off.
But if your bills are that important, you will do what you need to do. That's a great point. You got to be disciplined.
Oh, especially for that job. Because there's been a couple times where I'm like, not today. But it wasn't often. But it can creep up on you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
good to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we have you as a resource. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't let KFI fill you in once in a while, you could miss it.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio